Hey, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Jim,
And this is Danny.
and we have an interesting movie.
Yeah.
This one, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Because we had a talk with Lily. We went through the whole combination of genre mixes that we could put together with horror to figure out the appropriate name.
What it is.
Or the appropriate
Yeah.
segment it belongs to. And could probably be a bunch,
I think it could.
you know. But anyway, we will get to that. Let's see. News. First weekend in May, we are recording with the Pondo Boys
All right.
and Marty for another episode on their podcast. I don't know when the release time will come. We'll get that out there. Sad news.
Val Kilmer
passed away.
Yeah.
Just wow. Iceman, Batman, the Saint,
He was in so many things.
Hero and Willow, and Jim Morrison in the Doors, and just so many things. I know it was a long struggle because he's been in the news for not being in the news for a long time.
Right.
I think it's pretty cool. Towards the end, he got to Top Gun 2. He was in that. He'd been in some stuff, which is nice. It's always unfortunate when somebody who still has the oomph to be able to bring it, but there's an illness or something keeping them back, and they just go years and years and years without being able to get back into the craft, and then unfortunately they pass. So that happened. Weather. I want to talk about weather for a second.
Do we?
I do. Just a second. Quick second. Listeners, I don't know how it is for you, but it sucks here. It just, we've had 78 degrees, followed by 46 degrees, followed by 62 degrees, followed by 32 degrees, and then 36 degrees, and then 44, and then 30, and then 68 today.
Yeah, and mixed up with rain and snow, and
it's nightmarish. It's just killing me. The pressure changes, all of it. I feel like I didn't make it out of the trash compactor in Star Wars, and yeah, it's just terrible. So I hope it's faring better for some of you. We all know what's happening. Things are changing, and because it was never like this when I was a kid.
No,
you could count on it almost to the day. You could bet temperature changes, snow to rain, melts, that kind of thing.
It has been a while since I looked at a farmer's almanac, but I think I might want to get one.
I don't know how accurate that's going to be.
They have always been the most accurate.
Well, because up until recently, the weather patterns have been very consistent. We only go around the sun one way. We rotate, one way, and it's the same. But conditions on Earth have changed a little bit and is affecting things, because we just had a thunderstorm. Not really a thunderstorm. They called it a severe storm.
Yeah.
But it was just super hard rain. Came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And after it left us, then the weather warning came out, severe storm warning, saying, 10 minutes ago, there was a storm, and then it passed over, and now it's on its way to what we consider real towns. But makes me think it just popped up and boom, before they caught it. Or they're just getting progressively worse. I don't know. But fact of the matter is, there's just a lot going on affecting the weather. So I'm not sure about the almanac. I know it's been it's beaten up the weather people and all the technology for a long, long time. But if the technology can't even come close, I don't know how much the set in stone, thing's going to work. But it would be interesting to follow.
Yeah.
Maybe chart it,
Yeah.
Cool.
I believe in the farmer's almanac.
I really haven't seen much in the way of news that made me remember it. So I am without Hollywood announcements other than Mr. Kilmer. So we have this movie, another one that has been around for a little while, and weirdly, even though it's a foreign film, it's an Irish film.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Still doesn't register to me how all these things. I mean, with the people that we know, the conversations that we have, the things that we look at, how so many of these things just not like under the radar, just like completely out of our plane of existence for so long.
I know, and we delve into some like deep, deep, wild stuff.
Yeah, we do.
You know?
And sometimes more than once.
Yeah.
Which was the case with this one, because this was a watch and rewatch for notes.
Yeah.
Of note, when we took the notes, Lily did sit and watch it with us. She's not a huge horror fan.
No. But she doesn't like the gore.
Right. She doesn't like the gore and the violence.
Right.
That brings it. So she was actually okay with this.
Yeah, despite her being wildly violent at D&D.
I know. That is okay.
I can't reconcile it, but it is what it is.
It is. It's something that maybe warrant a little observation, discussion, perhaps. But anyway, that's what's going on. Why don't you tell us what we are going to be talking about?
Okie doke. We are talking about Without Name.
Yes.
Without Name is the name of this film.
Yes.
It was done in 2016. Directed by Lorcan Finnegan. Written by Garrett Shanley. Starring Alan McKenna, Nem, Algar, James Brown. It was not rated.
I think because it's on Tubi, I think it had a TVMA.
Okay.
Because the movie itself as a film is unrated.
Right.
That's usually what happens. But they got to, a lot of times they got to give it something, even though sometimes they miss.
Yeah.
We just get, what is it? G, PG?
Sometimes they just guess.
Sometimes they just guess.
Yeah.
Or they just leave it.
Like with that motorcycle movie. What was that one?
TV-14, it said.
It did, yeah.
It was a solid 2.5 minutes of boobs in the trailer.
That's right.
And that there even is a trailer
full of boobs?
With boobs, yeah.
Full of titties.
Yeah, this wasn't like they just took like a minute and a half of a scene,
mm-hmm.
right? Which sometimes they do. There's, but no, this was like the actual thing. And
yeah. We did not get the budget, although I see a note here that it got £350,000 in worldwide box office.
Yes. Which, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't, without the budget though, you don't know how good. Right. But I do know this, and we know this from David, because his is Scotland, mm-hmm. right? And they also have a film board, much like Ireland does. A lot of these movies, they're not super high budget.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. I think this one could have been done exceedingly inexpensively.
Well, yeah.
It's as we talk about it, it's the kind of thing when you watch it, you're like, you know what? You could have like 2 cameras, 2 cameramen, and 1 or 2 people to set up lights, and you could pull it off.
Right.
It takes a lot of planning, but the planning isn't what spends money.
No.
So.
Yeah. All right. So here's the log line. A land surveyor finds himself drawn into a dangerous game that could lead him becoming a prisoner of this place without a name.
So that was from Tubi.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a couple other log lines on here.
So I didn't like that one. And
sure.
I wanted to find, so a lot of times these films, foreign films will have their own website, or one of the associated production companies will have one.
Like a website for the film.
Yeah, for the film or for themselves, and at least list the film with a little like info
a little
or something. But they will have their log line.
Right.
That's what I was kind of hoping for. Swing and a miss. Completely, that's not what happened. But I did find these other ones. And I couldn't help but put them down.
You added a few.
Yeah. Well, you were sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
we talked about it.
Like, I can't pass this up.
Sorry, I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna, because who calls me other than spam calls? And that's not even, I don't get that much love. So
this will be the time.
Yeah, let it.
Okay, so here's the other ones you put on here.
Yep, give them to us.
Follows a land surveyor on an assignment to measure an ancient forest for a developer, but soon loses his reason in a supernatural environment that has its own plans. Gross. That's disgusting. Did you hear that?
Yep.
Did you hear me say that out loud?
I did.
Here's another one. A land surveyor working in an unnamed woodland area is disturbed and beguiled by a strange silhouette that moves amongst the trees. It's a little reductive.
Yeah. It hits the board, but it's like on the far, the just before you hit the doubles.
Where you're like, well, I mean, technically.
Yeah. It mentioned parts of the movie, so that's something.
This next one is very similar to that other one, the one I just read.
Yeah.
He's troubled in this one, land surveyor Alan McKenna, is disturbed and beguiled by a remote woodland and the strange silhouette that moves amongst its trees. It seems like someone tried to make a logline for this film and then plugged it into like 6 different AI, make this sound better.
It kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
But these are far too old to.
I get 2016.
AI. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to just put these in because I don't know why this particular time it struck me, but I really, the number of log lines that we come across for any single film, when there's a 3 or 4, there was about a dozen, and those are just the ones I nabbed, that were close to the mark.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So I don't know how. I mean, we were talking about it, and under 60 seconds, I came up with something that was appropriate.
Yeah.
To fit the tone. It's almost as if they just like, here's the poster of the movie. Write me a log line.
Kind of.
So anyway, I thought it was fun to, poke at that.
Yeah.
But still, they're all better than a movie with so-and-so in it, or a movie just different enough from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, that was the old Nosferatu.
Yeah, that's what Amazon was, the one that did that.
Yeah.
Anyway, why don't we get into this?
Start us off.
All right. So we have a surveyor taking measurements. He stares around a bit and then starts to gather his tools into his truck. Camera slowly pulling out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this, I can't explain some of this music.
I wrote, there is weird music.
Okay, I put as a humming music builds. And it looks like he's in a quarry. It's kind of bleak.
Mm-hmm.
It's dank and kind of wet. Then we cut to, it's dark and he's driving through a bridge. There's a whole pattern of lights like going past the windshield. And, he's looking kind of
unhappy.
Yeah. Then he gets home and he gets into bed. And his wife is in bed. And her back is to him. She's looking at him through the mirror on the other side of the bed. And she doesn't look happy. She
looks like she hates him.
I know. There's clearly some tension.
Yeah.
Going
like she
on.
Sneers even.
Yeah. And he doesn't even like pretend to care. Like, are you awake?
No.
Kind of thing. Just to, be able to, in good conscience, say, I asked if you were awake when I came to bed.
Right.
Yeah. This is completely cut off. The fact that they're in the same bed, it's like a miracle.
Right.
From that tension. The next morning, it's breakfast, and they're sitting in the kitchen with their son, and not a single word is spoken as the kid is playing a video game on his iPad. The man gets up, tells the kid to be good for his mother, and she stares daggers at him.
Yeah.
Just like, whoa. And then he leaves. So outside, he's walking and he's taken by this small sprig of, well, I put sprig of grass, but it was something that was growing that had a leaf. So maybe,
yeah, it's a little leafy plant.
Yeah, maybe the beginnings of a tree.
Who knows?
Through a crack in the cement in the garage. Then we cut to him driving through town, and it's just a bunch of like little cutscenes as he's going through and out of town. There's a lot of radio chatter.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's listening to different programs and switching and stuff, all touching on conservation.
Yeah, and development.
Of some kind or another. Then we get to some like tense music, and this whole driving bit is very, very fast motion as compared to the night scene, which was almost kind of serene.
Yeah.
Right? I guess, it's that whole nighttime. It's kind of nice. And daytime driving is just balls. Especially during the week. So now he's way out in the country. It's getting a little bit darker out. And next thing we know, it's night. And he starts driving through a small village.
Mm-hmm.
Passes like a pub. And then he's out of the village. And kind of in the boons a little bit. And he comes to a cottage. He gets out. He starts digging under some rocks on the little fence there. Finds a key. And goes in. And it's an old, quaint little space. Like this is clearly an early 1900s build.
Yeah, it's an old little house.
Yeah, this is something. So he unpacks his stuff into a dresser, and the wind outside is just howling.
Yeah. When he goes into the house, it's interesting because the score, which has been kind of quietly accompanying, just stops.
Yes.
And you can hear every single sound he's making as he's like unpacking his things. Everything seems amplified.
Yeah, you hear the buckle, the snap, the drawer pull out, the clothes hit the drawer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very, the focus is shifted incredibly, except for that wind out there, which is, doesn't let up for a little bit. So then he starts to look around, opens up this door. I thought he was going to like head to a basement and like, oh, here we go. But nope, it's a dark room.
Uh-huh.
And we don't really get to see a whole lot of what's in there. He reaches in, hits the switch, and a red light comes on. And it's facing us, right? And he's right next to it looking in. And we can see there are pictures hanging from lines, from the clothes hangers and stuff and the clips.
Yeah.
But we don't know what they are. So he just is like, and shuts it off and closes the door. So he's clearly not a photo enthusiast.
Right.
Then he goes and gets himself a drink. Seems to like get caught up in a photo of this man and an elderly woman, which is, I know, is a point of conversation we can have.
Right.
Then he starts looking through some books, finds a book on botanics. I just want to say, I'm not going to lie. This reminded me of Digging for Fire, when the wife is going through those books, and she keeps finding that
same book,
and how to have a great marriage,
right,
and everything. I don't know why, not even like remotely similar, but
no.
it just, I just had that vibe real quick, and I had like a little inner chuckle. But anyway, so he finds a book on botanics. There's other books about plants. Some of them are about the occult. And then just like random bits that might be loosely associated with those things. And then he finds a book written by hand.
Yeah, it's like an old composition book.
Yeah. Thick though.
Yeah.
As compared. and it's called Knowledge of Trees by William Devoy.
Yeah.
So we get to see that. He leafs through it, and you can see that not only is it written by hand, it is illustrated by hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're not bad.
Yeah, there's like different identifying drawings of plants and notes about, that kind of stuff. But then
Right.
there are also whole pages that seem like a narration of some sort.
Right. And then he's on his laptop, video calling a woman. And apparently she's a student who is supposed to be up there with him to survey this very large area that we haven't quite learned of yet.
Correct. And she's late.
Yes. And I guess there's a little bit where she's like, is she even going to come up there? She's like, I got to get this thesis done. I'm already late because of you. And so.
Yeah.
All right. She says she'll be there when she's there, basically. Then we get to morning, and there's some more low-key music. And by that, I mean the kind of, not, this isn't the humming stuff, but it's, I don't know what you would call it, just sort of.
It's just eerie.
Like a weird ambient, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but really low-key. And I noticed, though, that up to this point, there have been several stretches of sounds that I can only describe as like wood stretching.
Yeah.
And I guess and that comes from being on large wooden boats. That that
right.
all that that weird creaking kind of thing, like you're bending a board almost.
But slow, like it almost sounds like a growl. That like.
Yeah, and it's just very steady.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remembered it started super faintly with that little sprig, that little plant coming up through the garage, the cement in the garage. So he stops in a large wooded area and gets out and looks over a map. So apparently this place is so big and uncharted. He's got to figure out where the hell he is. And he gets back in, and the camera cuts to a single tree, and it very, very slowly pulls in on it. And then there's that stretching sound, and this time it's almost bestial.
Yeah.
It's like something is underneath it, where it's more of a, kind of thing. Very creepy, very subtle. But the one thing, and we'll talk about this, the shot took a bit going in on it. Oh, I don't know. I liked it.
It made me think. I was like, this is the breathing of the forest.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
And I agree with you 100%. At this point, though, I that was a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But during that going in slowly, I will. This is the first point where I was really starting to look for something.
Because it's the lichen. There's a lot of lichen on this tree.
And so I'm looking for, and the tree is right in the middle, right? And I'm wondering, is something going to come out from behind it? Something going to appear from the side? Is something going to happen within the fucking tree? Is there something there I'm not seeing? And that was the first of what will be many moments like that.
Intentionally.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of keeps you on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get some more of that creepy undertone music behind that. And the whole thing was just, like I said, elegant. Then he's somewhere in the woods setting up his equipment. And so this is some kind of a forest, folks. I don't know how many have been lucky enough to go to Ireland and go into some of these woods. But you know what? Once you do, you realize this is why there's so many fucked up fairy tales in Ireland. Because shit. This is the kind of forest where you go 20 feet in any direction from where you were, and it's in all likelihood you won't fucking get back. It is so disorienting. There's such a sameness to everywhere you look. It's like you're seeing the same pattern. You're seeing the same things. And this is where a lot of legends come from. And seeing it on film is kind of weird
Sure.
Because it takes almost nothing to make you think you're disoriented. I mean, even just like a little camera nudge, you'd be like, oh, I don't know about this. So he sets up a tripod, and this was interesting. As one of the legs goes into the dirt, there's this like echoing sound, almost like a grumble.
Angry.
Yeah, coming from deep.
Yeah.
And they actually pushed in
on the hole
the tripod left. And as they did, it was almost as if the closer you got, the more you could hear the sound.
Yeah.
Not that it was growing in volume, but you're getting closer to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Then he's walking around. He leans on a tree for support and breaks it in half.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like our fucking woods. You don't know what's alive and what's not really. I mean, some of it's obvious, but there were some that were surprises. Like, oh, that poor thing's been dead forever. It just didn't know it, you know? So yeah, he leans against it and it snaps. The sound loudly echoes as the top half falls to the ground. And as it hits, that echoes. And then the wind makes all the trees sway.
Mm-hmm.
Then he is trying to calibrate his device. I didn't bother looking it up. I do not know what this thing is called. I'm fascinated. I would like one. We have no practical purpose for it whatsoever, but I've always thought surveyor's tools are cool. You know what I mean? It's just,
I get it.
So
yeah, there is another shot of the trees. Like when it blows them all around, that's just a tree shot.
Yeah. As he's trying to calibrate his device, it keeps beeping at him. And there's like a little screen where it's like a center dot. It's digital.
Yeah.
It's like a little LCD display. And it just keeps circling.
Yeah.
So he's like, fuck. So then he breaks out his pendulum, hangs his pendulum from his device, and it won't settle. It keeps going around in a circle.
Yeah.
And he's like, just Monday. It's like this poor guy's having a fucking Monday.
Well, and I mean, the stuff isn't supposed to do that. A pendulum is the analog version of what his equipment does, right?
Well, yeah, a pendulum is a source of truth ruled only by physics.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's no circuit boards, there's no programming errors, there's no short circuiting anything. It just is. But yeah, it was, and not like, oh, look, the pendulum's moving. Like, you know, some of these places, and you're like, yeah, I don't know that it is. No, this thing was making wide loops.
Yeah.
Consistent. Then there's this gurgly sound, and this time it is very loud and very menacing. As that we cut to a shot of the trees, and the light shifts.
Mm-hmm.
And I still am debating on that first shot if they had like just a gazillion lights and did a whole light town shift, or if they did a time lapse,
right?
And recorded the pattern. Because either way,
I wrote the forest seems pissed.
Yes, it was a very angry shift because we went from vibrant.
Yeah, it was
right? The
warm.
greens were vibrant and warm toned and very, very bright.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got like a little brighter. The light shifted around from left to right. And now the right side of the trees were lit, and it was dark and dim and gloomy.
Cold and
yeah,
desaturated.
Yes. Kind of, you know, like I feel sometimes when I wake up, I'm ready for this kind of day. Fuck. So then it's night, very windy. And I point this out because it is not like this during the day.
Right.
I mean, this is like what we had here. This wind is just relentless when he's back at the cottage. And then he's on a video call with the company that hired him to do the survey. He asks what it's about, which I thought was interesting. I would never take a job. You know, you take a job? Sure, you're hired. Okay. No, I need some info.
Right.
What am I doing? Why am I doing? Well, he knows he's a surveyor, so he knows what he's going to be doing, but where and why? What is this for? You know? And apparently, long story short, the land was supposed to be used for a housing development. Then the housing bubble burst, and this company ended up getting the land from the developer for like next to nothing.
Right.
Right. So they need to do some surveys. The man points out there's much larger survey companies that could do it far faster than just him.
Right.
So the company man says, well, that would be too many people walking around who could leak information. I'm like, that's a red flag.
Yeah. Well, because he asked about EPA clearances, and the client is just like, well, well, let us worry about that. That's not your job.
Yeah, we'll worry about that when we get to that point, kind of thing. So anyway, there'd be too many people leaking information. And then he says, besides, you are known for your discretion.
Right.
Like, okay.
He doesn't seem to love that.
He does not. But this whole thing was a very not so subtle, but very soft-handed jab at corporate development and how it gets around laws and stuff. Because the guy was just like, don't worry. We'll take care of that. We'll take care of that. Just take the measurements. He's in bed, turns out the light, and that stretching sound is very loud outside.
Yeah.
Through the wind, he turns on the light and looks outside for a bit and then gets back into bed. Just kind of, so it's very obvious to him something is afoot. And at this point, I'm wondering, did he actually hear it?
Right.
Or is it just the unsettling nature that it is supposed to represent to us that he's experiencing that? Is it for our benefit or for his? But either way, creepy as shit.
It is creepy. But prior to him doing that, he went through that notebook again, the Knowledge of Trees notebook.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a page that's titled Everywhere, Nowhere. And then there are like ramblings and these mathematical looking drawings.
Yeah, it's kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
On its face, it's like all over the place.
Right.
So then it's morning again, and he's back in the woods setting up. Only this time it's super foggy.
Yeah.
And it's like starting to close in slowly, which is what happens.
It's true.
It's a cool thing, and it's weird and makes most people, 1,000 years ago, it'd make them shit their pants because, they don't understand moisture, condensation, fog. And then there's that stretching sound again.
Yeah.
And then it's quickly followed and joined by that grumbling.
Yeah. And he seems to hear them this time too.
Yeah.
Like he seems tuned into them, whereas he didn't seem to notice them.
Yeah. He's looking around and just got what? And then it kind of pays off. He sees in the distance, in the fog, kind of like just past the edge of the fog, a dark figure.
Mm-hmm.
And after a moment, it just walks away. Then he goes back to work.
Right.
A normal person would look like a dark figure at that distance, in that fog, in that light. So whatever, right?
Yeah.
So he goes back to work and he pulls a marker out of the ground.
Yeah.
That the device pings off of. And then we get that whole thing again where the gurgling and grumbling grows loud as the camera slowly goes in on the hole in the dirt, just like it did with the tripod.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets to his device, someone has knocked it to the ground and just like knocked all over all of his shit, knocked over his little cases and stuff. Then he's at the cottage. He's talking with the company dude. It comes down to the little conversation is, it's probably activists and don't worry about it and da-da-da-da-da.
Well, yeah, one thing he has seen twice, though, is this camper that seems to be parked.
Yeah, little caravan.
Yeah, a little camper.
Yeah, slightly bigger than a teardrop, but definitely a one person.
Yeah, situation.
Yeah. And that's between the cottage and wherever this forest is.
Right.
I don't know how far out it is from there. Let's see. So he sits there for a little bit, and then he decides to go to that little village.
Right.
To the pub that we saw.
So there's a sign outside that says rooms available inside.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks in, he asks the bartender if anyone's staying in the rooms Because I think he wants to know, like, are there, maybe is there some corporate sabotage going on? Somebody staying here?
Right.
And the bartender says no. And one of the guys in the bar asks him about himself. And I think the surveyor here thinks this guy's like too curious about him. Because he's a little standoffish with the question. Kind of evades really answering them.
Mm-hmm. He's clearly not a man with experience of small town happenings.
Right.
Right.
So they know the cottage he's in, and the guy who lived there, who they say went soft in the head. And they call him Devoy. So we know it's the guy who wrote that notebook.
Mm-hmm.
This guy at the bar tells him the place is called, it doesn't really have a name.
Yeah, it was never named, but it has a name by not being named.
Right.
So in
and
Irish,
it's called Gon Anam.
Gon Anam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without name.
Literally translates to without name.
Yeah.
Which I thought actually is, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What is it? It's without name. We thought that up. No, it's literally without name, but that's how we refer to it. It's the only unnamed thing around, so it's easy to pick out.
Right. So this surveyor starts talking to this guy at the bar who's been asking him all these questions.
Mm-hmm.
This guy at the bar doesn't drink. He's got tea.
Yeah.
But he says he, gets his kicks off in other ways, basically. And he starts talking about psychedelics. He said specifically psilocybin.
Yeah. Well, the surveyor, it's like, you look like a toker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, actually, it's psilocybin.
And this guy is the person who's staying in the camper.
Mm-hmm.
So the surveyor tells this kid that it's private property, and the kid is not worried at all about that. He says he doesn't believe in private property. No one owns anything. They just think they do.
Right. Oh, we also, I didn't even note it, but I just remembered this. We learn in here that the cottage he's staying at is Devoy's.
Correct.
It's being rented out because they need money because he's in a care home.
Right.
Yeah.
So the two of them are walking back from the pub, and the kid, Gus, says that, because he's got this flashlight, and the surveyor's like, do you always carry a torch with you? And Gus is like, yeah, I always bring it with me. Wouldn't want to get lost. There are fairy fields about.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells him this kind of yarn that, in order to, not get tricked into wandering in circles forever, you got to turn your coat inside out. So this is where the surveyor asks what happened to Devoy, because they say in the bar that he went soft in the head.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where Gus tells him they found him catatonic in the woods, and he's been in care since. So they get to the cottage, and Eric is the surveyor's name. Finally, it took me this long to get it. So Gus tells Eric to stop by sometime. I mean, Gus seems like a sweet kid.
Yeah, just
just a little hippie.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's just living that.
Yeah,
wanderlust life.
Yeah, relatively harmless. So then we see Devoy in a care bed, and he's the guy in the picture, and he's just staring into space, and that stretching rumbling sound is with him.
Yeah.
And he's looking up, and we see the trees, the treetops from underneath.
Yeah.
And then Eric wakes up, and I'm not saying he dreamed about Devoy, but, that's where we kind of cut to. And he's picking up the student he was chatting with, Olivia. And she seems happy. And then, she's just kind of, chatty, and he's not saying anything. And she's like, are you annoyed with me? Like, what's your deal? He says he's got a lot on his mind, and she asks if it's his family. And that's where it's kind of confirmed, because they were pretty flirty on the call.
Uh-huh.
But they're sleeping together.
Yeah. It's blatantly obvious, because we see him going at it.
Yeah. No questions. Kind of toward the end of that, he says that he's glad that she's there.
Yeah.
He doesn't like being alone.
There's one thing I wanted to point out up to this point. One thing I've noticed is all of the inside shots, like in the pub, no matter where he is inside, it's kind of warm. It's sharp.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it's a warm tone for the most part. Even if it's like a little brighter. The outside shots are so blanched. They're so muted compared to the inside shots, especially like when he's in there looking through the book. It's dark, it's candlelight, and yeah, it has its own little appeal, but there was still like a lot of punch
Sure.
into what was in the room, whereas outside, and
like the inside is more real.
Kind of. It's almost like the outside, and this is, it's North Atlantic weather, and Ireland is mostly cloudy, and cloudy days things don't quite punch, right?
Right.
But there was just, I don't know, it just seemed very noticeable. Those two, he's inside, he's outside, he's inside, he's outside.
Right. Well, there's a magic to the outside shots that there isn't to the inside shots.
Right.
Oh shoot! I was gonna say something and I forgot.
Was it about being outside?
Oh no, it was the style of shooting on the inside and the outside is the same in that it is kind of what I call fly on the wall style shooting.
Yes, I'll just say real quick. It's awesome inside because everything's so compact, just because of the boundaries we can see. But it's the exact same setup, and if you pay attention, it's pretty much the same distance from the subject. From the actor, but outside without those walls, it's got a whole different feel to it.
It does, but it's the same style of shooting as that fly on the wall.
Yeah, it's literally just inside, outside.
Like we're here watching this happen, but nobody knows that we're watching it happen.
Yeah, and then at this point, and we've talked about this, being veteran horror movie watchers.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that same kind of shooting, outside it lends itself to, where is it?
Right.
It could come from any fucking direction.
Yeah.
We're not inside, what's going on. Yeah. So far, nothing.
No.
Nothing. Just the apprehension of, it's coming.
Yeah.
Is it?
So later he's on a video call with his wife. Apparently their son is bullying other kids at school. This whole call goes poorly. I don't go into too much about how it goes. He does. His wife seems to know about Olivia.
Yeah.
Because she asks if he's alone, and he's like, "Well, yeah." And then he's like, "Well, actually, I picked up Olivia, earlier today." And upstairs, Olivia, who can hear the call, is, well, she spills a drink and she finds that notebook, The Knowledge of Trees.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he yells up at her like, it's time to get to work. And then they're in the woods. She loves the woods. And when she's out there, they're warm again. Right?
Yes.
Because she's complimenting the woods. She says it's so beautiful. It's like a church.
Well, yeah, she goes, it's so old. And she whispers it.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you whispering? And she says, it's like a church.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I get it.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So then as they're setting up, Eric is kind of walking around, he's bringing this equipment with him. I don't really know exactly what it is they're doing, but I know it's surveying stuff.
Yeah. I know nothing about it. So they could literally have just been like fucking off to make it look like they're working. Sold me.
My dad did land surveying stuff for a while and he really enjoyed it. And he tells me about, stuff he learned about places all the time. But mechanically, I know zero.
Right.
About surveying.
I know they have a thing.
Uh-huh.
I know way back in the day, they used a scope.
Yeah.
And it looked like a sextant on a tripod.
Right.
With a scope and a bunch of other stuff, mostly pencil and paper, but I really know nothing about it. Just like you.
Yeah. So yeah, Eric is walking around and then the trees sort of change again. They do that weird light thing.
Mm-hmm.
and he disappears behind a tree. And, the whole tone of the forest changes and she can't find him. So she calls out, she looks around, but the woods are like they're moving around her. And she's getting increasingly confused and worried. And, it takes quite a while.
Yeah, and yelling at him.
Yeah.
This isn't funny, Eric.
Yeah. And then he's right behind her, confused. Because he's like, I was right here.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
She's just like, where did you go?
Yeah. So on the way back, she mentions a little bit that this land might not be able to be used for whatever the developer is planning, and he says he doesn't want to talk about it.
Right.
So at dinner, she's talking about how lovely the place is.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns into them talking about their futures, and it seems like they have different ideas.
Yeah. Well, it's that old chestnut. He won't leave his family for her when she's saying, this could be us. It could be, peaceful and we could be happy.
This cabin is what you always wanted. And
he's like, well, I've got a son. I'm not leaving my son. So, and that right there told me the wife is just like part of the package.
Right.
Like the necessary add-on that you don't want, but you just tolerate,
Right. Like he's just accepted that his life is going to be miserable. And
yeah. And he's just got to like raise his kid.
Yeah.
With this shit relationship with the woman in the house. Very weird and inappropriate, but that right there is just like cha-ching.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't care about her.
But yeah, I mean, he makes it clear that there's no future with Olivia.
Right.
And she's not totally on board with that.
No.
So yeah, at night again, he hears those noises, like woods knocking on the house almost.
Yeah.
And he's worried enough about these noises to grab something as a weapon, like a banister or something that's in the house.
No, I think
it's his tripod thing.
Yeah, one of the tripod.
Yeah,
one of the smaller ones. Yeah.
And he runs outside and he shouts out like, "Where did you go?" And he looks like a crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
And Olivia asks him what he's doing, and she's like, "There's nobody out there.
You're the only one who's out there."
Yeah.
Go to bed. So the next morning, they're pulling up to the gypsies' caravan. Good old Gus. And Gus invites them in for tea. He's very pleasant. Eric says he kind of gets like right to the point.
Right.
Someone's been messing with his equipment, sneaking around the cottage, a little bit of like blah, 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 blah. And then Gus is like, well, I have a feeling that I'm being asked if it's me.
Right.
And he just basically says he's not the type, ask anyone, and they'll just have to take his word for it. It's like,
yeah, he's like, it's not like I have an alibi or anything.
Yeah, I can't prove anything to you, either way.
Right.
Right. You just take my word for it. That's just not me. It's not my thing. And, take it or not. And then Eric says, or get the law involved. And Gus basically is just like, literally puts his head down, waves his hand, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Right. And then Eric asks, well, who could it be then? And then Olivia smells something cooking.
Yeah.
And it's stew. She's hungry. Gus offers them both stew.
Yeah, he's very hospitable. He's like, well, I made that for myself for a few days, but I'd rather have the company.
Yeah, I made that and it was going to last me the week, but, I'd rather spend it out now or with company, and do something different in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's very amiable,
Yeah, Gus is very warm.
Yeah, which, again, traditional horror, this is the guy you keep your fucking eyes on because it's going to go one of two ways.
Yeah.
One, he absolutely is the something involved, right? Mm-hmm. Or two, he isn't, but has something to do with it in an odd way. Or on occasion, there's that rare third thing where there's Gus. He has nothing to do with the movie.
Right.
So he serves up the stew and then it is night, and they're talking about Devoy, and he was into Kirlian photography, oral photography,
Right.
and he was talking about, like, Devoy was saying the trees were trying to talk to people, that the way they swayed in the wind was like a sign language,
Mm-hmm.
and Devoy believed the forest was a being of sorts.
And then it was trying to talk to him.
Yeah. And he was, trying to learn, trying to decipher what the thing was. But then Gus also says that Devoy was big into hallucinogens.
Right. And that they trip together just about everywhere.
Yeah. Gus goes on about how great they are. And then ultimately he offers to share some with them. So Olivia wants to take some.
Well, he doesn't offer. He says it's pure, straight from God. And Olivia goes, she basically is like, are you holding? Like, do you have anything now?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, yeah.
So she's for it. Eric is like, oh, we've got work in the morning, So he's being this curmudgeon. And then we cut later. It's dark out. There's a fire going. Olivia's laying on her back, staring up at the sky.
Talking about cutting up the land into saleable parcels and measuring.
We cut everything up into sellable slabs and, this and that. And then there's this whole ownership thing, blah, blah, blah. And then Eric's like, we just take measurements.
Right.
And then Gus, of course, figures out they're surveyors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just doing a study. And Olivia's talking about how they've lost touch with the world and, like, lost themselves because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ourselves. It's basically humanity.
The deep stuff you start talking about when you do mushrooms.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, Eric is looking like semi-panicked. And, like, what's wrong? We just hear his voice. I think I'm coming up.
Yeah.
And like, what? So it turns out that he didn't want to be left out. He finished off the bag of mushrooms.
Right. Gus gives Olivia a little handful. He takes a little handful for himself. And then Eric apparently ate the rest.
And that's funny because Gus very exasperatedly, you finished the bag. And then he asks, have you done shrooms before? Eric says, no, why? And Gus laughs and says, you'll probably be fine. That was a lot of mushrooms.
That's a lot of mushrooms, though.
So,
and Eric's like, what? And he's like, no, you'll be fine, probably.
Yeah. Let's go for a walk. So they take Eric on a small walk in the woods. Gus and Olivia are talking about nature and just, like, some other stuff. It's not like focused conversation. Eric is barely holding on.
Yeah.
And at one point, he's really deep in. He sees his wife sitting on the ground, and he's not at all following what they're saying.
No.
As morning hits, they're at the cottage, all three of them.
The sun is up.
Yep, sun has come up. Olivia says she's heading to bed. Eric's like, oh, it's another day's work lost. And Gus is like, well, you're here. It's over. It's done. I'm heading back home. So he, cheerfully, fucks off and leaves them to their whatever they've got going. Eric's looking haggard, which he should.
Yeah. Well, I want to note they're at the house when the sun comes up, which means that Gus recognized that these are two people who are not going to make it home on mushrooms by themselves.
Right.
So he suggested going for a walk so that he could escort them home.
Yep. Gus is, he's just a nice guy.
I like Gus.
Yeah. And has a lot of hallucinogens. Okay. Let's see. So, yep, Gus leaves and Eric's looking rough. So then we cut to the woods and that figure is there in the distance. And then the screen flashes between it and then, like, Eric, like, standing, and Devoy. And just like, boom, 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 boom. I mean, fast.
Right.
Gets to that card flipping fast. And then Olivia is waking Eric up. power is out and the sun is setting. So they've been in bed all day.
Yeah.
And are waking up as evening approaches. So she's worried about the power going out, so they need
candles, torches,
or flashlight, whatever. She ends up finding some in the dark room, and she calls out to him to come look at the photos, and they're the oral images Gus was talking about.
Right.
And Olivia says, "Why don't you come downstairs and I'll read to you from your special book?" He's like, "What special book?" Like, you know. And then a little bit later, they're down there, and of course, it's the knowledge of trees. So she starts to read from it, but she's doing it in like a mocking fashion.
Yeah.
Which I thought, man, it makes you kind of a bitch, really.
Yeah.
That's just rude. Especially after all this nature stuff, and it's a guy espousing his getting on with nature. Anyway, that was a little bit of a twatish thing to do. Almost like that singer.
Oh my gosh.
Liberty. Just no need to be a bitch. So, Devoy believed he was on the cusp of finding the book of nature that would allow him to understand all of its hidden secrets.
Right, learning the language of trees.
Yes. And she says he was crazy. Eric says he thinks Devoy was onto something.
Enlightened.
He says maybe he was some kind of light. And as he says that, the house lights come on and Olivia loses her shit.
Well, yeah, he says maybe he was enlightened and then the lights come on.
Yeah. So she laughs and laughs. He snatches the book and storms off. Another day, out in the woods, Eric's laptop isn't working correctly. Just nothing seems to have gone well.
Yeah.
All of their measurements are getting garbled, like on the screen. It looks like somebody is like bending the screen. Because there's like these weird patterns that the screens will make when they're broken or bent. There are no stretching or gurgling sounds while they were out there in this scene.
Right.
Which I noticed. Then they're packing their gear. Olivia says he can go back to the cottage. She wants to go for a walk, and we'll see him later.
Right? Yeah, there's like one more thing for him to pick up, and she's like, I'm just going to go for a walk. You can get that.
Mm-hmm. So she leaves, and he walks back into the woods. And then we're tight in on a tree, this time slowly pulling back. And then we have gurgling sounds and stretching sounds. And I kept looking for a face or something in this close-up. Like,
I can hear in the sound in this, it sounds like there's someone crying.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I wrote in my note.
Well, I believe you. So anyways, then we, after it's an extended period of time as it's pulling back, just like it was pushing in. Then we cut back to Eric, and he's almost panicking. There's stretching sounds like all over, and then the deep gurgles all over, and he looks afraid, and then he sees a naked body on the ground.
Yeah.
Kind of fetal, sort of like in between a couple moss-covered rocks or tree bits or something.
Yeah, right? Like tree roots.
Yeah. So he runs away and jumps into his truck. And in the truck, he looks like he's losing his mind.
Yeah.
He is just wide-eyed. What in the
He's got a freak out happening.
Right. So then we get a close-ups of a few of the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
They're very creepy.
Yeah, the Devoy photos.
Yeah, but they're also very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained it to Lily that it's, it was done with infrared film. Makes some stunning art photographs unlike any other kind. But boy, it takes a long time. It's expensive to learn how to master it because that film, was, I don't even know if they still make it, was expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And super easy to fuck up. And I've done it. And I quit doing it because it's expensive, or was. But it's It's what she was talking about when you talking about the oral photographs on how if you do something with the plant, its aura changes.
Right.
Right. Whether it's happy or sad. So there's a lot of these going on. And then we cut to him sitting in the kitchen. Olivia comes back. He asks how Gus is doing. He presumes she went and stopped.
There's some jealousy in his voice.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, she's like, yeah.
Yeah, a little infantile.
Mm-hmm.
Then he says he can't find the last day's worth of readings. Like, did you do something to this?
Yeah, and then he starts going off.
Yeah, he thinks she's done something to the data. He's accusing her of fucking with him, sabotaging this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Out of jealousy, I think is the bent.
Or that she's some part of some setup against him.
Or both. Mm-hmm. Or one because of the other. I don't know. And then he goes on about how he doesn't want things to change. And he's like, why is everything changing? And then shouts at her asking why she's trying to tear him apart. And then she storms upstairs and packs her shit. He follows, apologizing. She says she's going to go find a place to stay in the village. Storms out. And again, windy as shit at night.
Yeah.
And after a moment, he goes after her, gets in the truck, goes to follow her, tries to get her to get into the car. She won't, calling him fucking crazy. And then she darts off the road and goes into the woods. He gets out and follows. Ends up like nearly putting his eye out on a branch.
Mm-hmm.
He looks back at the truck. And he sees a figure at the edge of the headlights. He goes to it and there's nothing there.
But then he leaves his car and he walks back.
Yes. Can't blame him.
No.
So back at the cottage, he's making a video call. As it rings, he hears things and sounds, voices, to the point where he starts yelling, "Stop." And then the client answers the call. Eric?
Are you okay?
Asks if everything is all right. If Eric needs help. And then we cut to Eric walking into the woods in the dark. There's a subtle heartbeat sound.
Yeah.
As he does.
And the light changes.
Yes. Again. Mm-hmm. At night even. He looks up at the sky, and this is such a beautiful shot. This is just knowing how to set the settings on your camera for aperture and, everything. It is so that we see the night sky. The trees, we're looking straight up. The trees, the limbs and branches are pitch black against it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And there just happened to be some bit of clouds that kind of add this really cosmic, ethereal feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks so good. I could freeze that, right? Capture it on the screen and then print it out.
Yeah.
In like an 11 by 17 and hang it up and be like, that's art. It's pretty.
Yeah.
Very soothing. Excellent composition. So then we have another slow pull into a tree. And at this time, the music, I can only describe it as great music. I don't know. There's just something that was very fitting about it. And
whispering and.
Yeah, but this wasn't as discordant as a lot of the other stuff, like the humming and the.
Yeah.
Kind of thing going on. This was actually like a mid-level. It was just nice. The next thing we know, he's in bed, and there's shadows from the outside branches on the wall, mm-hmm. and then we get the stretching noise, and the shadows are starting to creep down towards him, and then they start to get to his where his head is, and then they start to come up on his face, and then he wakes up. He bolts upright,
yeah,
looking like he just shat himself, and it's daytime. There's massive winds though today, mm-hmm. where before that's been reserved for night, except when they were with Gus. When they were walking back, it was decidedly not super windy like it was, because that fire would never have burned.
Correct.
Right, and they weren't troubled by it. So he stands for a bit, and then he's looking through Devoy's book. The Next thing we have is he's out gathering mushrooms and other plants as described in the book, presumably. Even though we saw a couple illustrations, but he's just like gathering a whole bunch of stuff, mostly mushrooms. And he makes a tea from it. Sorry. So this is like a 5-minute, montagey thing. Pours himself a glass. And by glass, I don't mean a little juice glass. It's a proper glass. So he pours that shit in there, takes a sip, and is like, this is terrible. And then he downs the whole fucking thing in one gulp. And both times we saw it, the second time, I knew it was coming, but it didn't impact me any less. I'm like, Jesus Christ. That makes eating the rest of that bag look like you had a Twizzler.
Well,
holy shit.
I want to point out that some of the mushrooms he gathered were Amanita muscaria.
Yeah, not all psychedelics.
Not necessarily.
Right.
But yeah, dangerous stuff.
Then we cut to him passed out in the chair, having dropped the glass on the floor a couple inches, right? And what little bit was in there, the backwash or whatever, had splashed out to make the shape of little branches.
Yes.
Which I thought was super cool.
I thought so too. So the camera kind of zooms out on him, right? Just kind of like pans out on him.
Yeah, the only shot that wasn't a tree.
Yeah.
Going in or out, it was him, but that super same slow pull out. Very tense.
Yeah, and he's in the chair kind of barely conscious. So he wakes to this weird droning noise, and it's like water moving.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I also was like, is there a face in here? I don't know what is happening. And then we see Eric swimming in a creek.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a river. It might be a river,
it's like
but it's a little. Well, it's a creek.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little river. And he's just floating and staring at the treetops. He's laughing. We see that figure in the trees again. And Eric tries to get its attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he laughs. He's trying to follow it. And he's like running through the woods. And there's all these beautiful, creepy, weird sounds. And then he's trying to talk to the figure, but he can't seem to get the words out.
Right.
Right. He stumbles over it for a while. And finally he just screams, communicate. And then the thing just makes noises and lights, and it's this insane situation. Eric screams.
Mm-hmm.
So then he's naked in the house, curled up in a ball, whimpering, and those noises start again. And at this point, I'm like, how long has it been?
Right.
I mean, has it been a day? Has it been a week? Like,
who knows?
Yeah. There's a knocking at the door, and it's his wife looking for him. She's like peering through the windows, and he hides in a closet and just cries.
He's like in an upright fetal position,
Mm-hmm.
just sobbing.
Yeah. So then she is looking through the windows of his Jeep, and he's watching her from inside, and he's looking through the book. But the end of this book, which he's looking through now, is the rantings of a crazy person.
Yeah, it went from something that looked super cool,
mm-hmm.
right? With, and I mean, decent handwriting and the drawings and stuff. And then, it started getting like
Psycho Notebook.
Yeah. And then it's just like dark scratches and half letters and just weird as shit.
Mm-hmm. And that figure is scribbled in on a page, the silhouette.
Yep.
So then Eric's in the woods again, then in the house. And he's staring at this moth in the light fixture that's beating its wings loudly.
It resounds through his through the room in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then that sound is a helicopter flying around. And Eric is wandering through the woods watching a search party for him.
Mm-hmm.
Gus, Olivia, his wife, his son.
The constables
Yeah.
and
So
dogs.
it's like he's in the woods, but he's simultaneously in the house. So you're not sure, like, is he imagining this? Like,
Right?
what is happening? And finally, he's back in the woods, and this figure is walking towards him, the silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Devoy.
Yeah.
And Devoy immediately attacks him, strangling him. There is a little bit of a scuffle between them, but Devoy pretty quickly overpowers him.
Right.
And then we see hospital Devoy waking up again.
His eyes open.
Mm-hmm.
And the old lady's in his room.
Yeah.
Older lady. Yeah.
And the noise reaches a crescendo here.
Well, he moves.
Yeah. And then Eric wakes up. Gus of the search party has found him naked in the woods, but Eric is watching this happen from outside his body.
Yes.
And then I was typing really fast here. I misspelled so many things. There's the forest shot again.
Mm-hmm.
And the light changing the feel of it.
Yes.
To where it's peaceful again.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Eric, the catatonic Eric, in a wheelchair, being wheeled into special care, and Devoy in that same care place is awake.
Mm-hmm.
We see Eric's wife alone, Eric in the foggy woods alone, and then Eric's in the foggy woods alone. He's the figure in the woods now.
Yeah, he's naked in the woods, and the light goes dark on him, making him a silhouette against the trees, which I thought was fantastic manipulation of light.
Yeah. The end.
That was it. The end.
Should we get into it?
I want to get into it, yeah.
All right.
So I want to start out by saying the reviews for this movie, kind of all over the place.
Are they? I could imagine that. I don't think it's everyone's cup of tea.
It is not everyone's cup of tea, and more than anything, it's you I don't want to say love it, but you like it or you hate it. There was no fence walking.
Interesting.
And I read 40, 50. They're very short.
Yeah.
A lot of people was like, this is really good. It really made me think, and it was beautiful, and like this was way too long. No idea what was going on. What a waste of time. So I liked it.
I do think this was definitely more of a cerebral film.
Yes, I think we landed on psychological horror.
Yeah.
Is probably the best way to describe this. It's not really so much a thriller, kind of suspenseful, but only in that, like I said.
I think it also might fall into like surreal horror.
Surrealistic. Yeah. The whole thing is pretty much. I will say the message is heavy.
Yeah.
Right. So I get it. And that's, the primary focus. Could have been maybe a little lighter kind of thing, but there's definitely a statement being made. And for some people that ruins a film. Sometimes it does for me. This time, I liked it. I liked it. I liked that we watched it twice because I still felt the same with those pullouts and push-ins. Oh my God. And like I was going to say, because we are so seasoned when we think of horror, for something like this, we're thinking of, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's going to jump out and it's going to make you throw your popcorn and, or you're going to see something and be like, oh, that's creepy. There was none of it.
Yeah. It felt pretty fresh.
Yeah. I want to talk about the camera work.
Okay.
So the slowly, going in and out of the trees. And I had said, it reminds me of David Ryan Keith.
Yeah.
He has, and some people don't understand this. Some people will fully get it. He has a very singular style of doing, moving a camera, rolling it on the tracks very slowly. Not all the time. In specific moments. I'm thinking of like Redwood Massacre.
Right.
Because we had just like a couple movies before that, we had been talking about like camera movement. If it's not necessary, don't fucking do it. There's people go to school to learn how to keep the fucker steady.
Right.
Right. His fit, it 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 is always in between some strange tense moments.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so it's like the segue, but you can pick it out, just like his drone work, right? The way he comes at like Primal Rage, when they're driving in the woods, right? On
Yeah.
on a highway through the forest, the way he comes at it to get in on the car, it's very David.
It
right?
is.
So this isn't a mimicry of that, but it's very singular, because anyone can like hit a zoom ring in out, or have
it's
the
very
dolly,
particularly stylistic.
Yeah.
In the way that, like, I mean, it's not like them, but in the way that Wes Anderson films are very particularly stylistic.
Yes.
In the way that they're shot.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed it, because it was so much tension. And I'm like, just that focus. Now, so first of all, the focus shows you how magnificently beautiful things like, lichen growing on a tree can be up close.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole movie is, all these shots are the textures and the things about nature that most people just don't pay attention to.
Right.
So I really enjoyed the nature camera work.
Yeah.
Which spilled into him at the end in the chair.
It did.
Coming out. And I'm like, wow, that works. Isolationism.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it wasn't even like just like down the hallway where we just see the walls and stuff. It was just pulling out because everything was dark. So it's just him illuminated by that kitchen light that had the moth. And it's very soft, very warm. And then he just gets smaller and the blackness gets bigger. And
it is. Yeah. It's a huge contrast. And this made me think of this. To the last film we covered, Give Me Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
Which was shot in an entirely different style.
Yeah.
And was gorgeous for totally different reasons. But if you had taken that style of handheld, up close, personal shooting and used it in this film, it would not have worked.
Oh, it would have been horrible.
Because this was very impersonal.
Yes.
Right? It was very much, the camera was separated from what was happening.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The camera was just showing you what to look at.
Give Me Liberty brought us in to the chaos.
Yeah.
Right? You felt like you were in that fucking van. We felt the tension of the day he was having 10 minutes into the film.
Mm-hmm.
This was very, very much, to me, oriented where you are not meant to be in it. Right. You are here to observe it, like you said, fly on the wall, inside and outside.
Correct.
Which is not an easy thing to do.
No.
But they did this very well. Paired with that, the lighting. The way that the director chose to light this, the light shifting, I don't know, but it was fucking
It
wonderful.
Was. And it even started in the beginning when he's having breakfast with his family. Everything is very stark and bland and boring. Everything's like cream and beige and blue and black and
lifeless almost.
Yeah, very cold.
Yeah.
Very dull. And then there is one magnificent shot of him driving through the city. It's like above the road, and it was just a really striking shot. There were a lot of beautiful lines in that shot. And then he's in the country, and it's just like wild and warm.
I will say this. A lot of people, there's a big warning at the front.
Oh, yes.
Super stroby stuff. And there is. And man, does that one end scene go on for a good long time.
Yeah.
So if you are photosensitive, steer the fuck clear.
Yeah. I had to skip past that strobing sequence both times we watched it.
Mm-hmm. It was just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot. I mean, it was just like hard on my eyes. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is, okay. Anytime now.
Well, I think light sensitive eyes, and that was going to give me a migraine if I kept watching it.
Right. So, well, there it is.
Yeah.
The acting.
I mean, I think it was good. It
wasn't bad. I would say it was average. There wasn't a lot of deep pull. There wasn't really a need for it the way the story was written.
Yeah.
I think Eric sold us on his, I took too many things in that bag, man. And the realization that there's no way out of it.
Yeah.
At the end, it was more psychological.
Yes.
Completely mind fuck. This wasn't trying to sell us on anything in particular that he's feeling or experiencing. We were seeing it visually.
Right.
And we knew from the cuts and the weird shit because he's like looking over the rock and all the people looking for him. And then they cut from behind. So we're looking over his shoulder. We see him. And then they cut to, his face and he's on the bed in the same position.
Right.
Like looking over the edge of the bed. So we know what's going on. And that's up to the camera and the director to pull off. I think things like that really, the actor does not have a lot of input.
I mean, that's a good point. I think the acting was good in this film, but I don't know that any of it was like award winning. Like it was very solid.
Yeah.
But the story was told mostly through the camera work and the sound.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of sound.
Do you want to talk about the sound?
Talk about sounds.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, this movie uses camera work to tell the story. It also uses sound. And while there were a lot of repeating sounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost like refrains.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know you're not a big fan of the musical Hamilton.
Okay.
But one thing that is recurring throughout that musical is constant repeating of different refrains. There are like a handful of phrases and verses and choruses that it keeps circling back to point out different messages.
Okay.
I think you would like it if you gave it a shot. I just don't see you ever giving it a shot.
I can't.
So this was the same thing, this film. So it had these refrains of sounds that it kept circling back to.
Mm-hmm.
But the sound played into the mood of the film so much that if this were one of those films that you watched at night without any, sound, and Lily even pointed it out when she was watching it with us, she was like, it's weird that there has not been hardly any dialogue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's not where the heart of this lies.
Right.
There's enough to keep us actively involved with what the characters are doing.
And it's not like they're never talking. There are big periods where it's talk, 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 talk. Right?
But it's like I said, it's quick to the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's to A, let us know what they're doing. B, what the situation is.
Right.
And how they're dealing with it. And then it's just other stuff.
Yeah, this film isn't about characters learning and growing it's not character driven.
No.
It is event driven.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about this event that happens to this guy.
Yeah.
Right? The guy is relatively unimportant.
He just happens to be the one who's going there for the thing. And then this all takes place.
Right.
And it could have been anybody but him.
I mean, it could have been, but maybe he was chosen. He saw that plant in his garage.
Well, and Devoy, maybe he went through the same thing. And there was a figure because he drew a thing of the figure. So who was that figure before him?
And it is interesting to me. I want to talk about this briefly, just story-wise.
Sure.
That Gus, who went tripping with Devoy, who has lived in that camper for a while, he said he likes these woods.
Mm-hmm.
He likes this place. He, might move on at some point, but he sees no reason to right now. The difference. So if they're both wandering around the woods around the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be either of them. But one of the big differences between them was Devoy was obsessed with puzzling out the trees and the language.
Right.
Whereas Gus is just like, this is just the woods.
Well, that's just it. Devoy was another Eric.
Yeah.
Another us.
Yeah.
Right? City livers, da-da-da-da-da.
Well, where Eric was trying to puzzle out, the measurements of the woods.
Well, but yeah. And Gus, though, his very nature is don't stay too long to disturb nature.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He doesn't believe, he did, because in that whole thing before they took the mushrooms, when they first met him in the caravan, he was going on about, we don't own anything.
Yeah.
And Eric's like, well, that's because you don't, he's like, goes on about ownership and stuff. And Eric's, it's because you don't own anything. And Gus's response was, none of us do.
Yeah.
We just think we do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was in tune enough to be spared the wrath of the woods.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you need to understand nature. Like, what are the words? What are the signs? What's it saying? I think you need to understand your place and its place.
Yeah.
Where we coexist, right? And
mm-hmm.
to be on the side of nature is really simply to be, don't impact it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all impact it.
And that's the message of the movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, the music told the story as much as the camera work did.
Yes. Because
it was eerie and weird and sometimes beautiful. Like when they're going on that trippy walk, it's like magical, Yeah. It's lovely.
Like a tiny symphony of fairy music.
Yeah.
But then there's the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. The winds were the single biggest creep out audibly.
Yeah.
For me. Because like I said, they're out dicking around in the woods. Nothing's going on. As soon as the fucking sun goes, shit's blowing everywhere. To the point where towards the end when he's tripping in the house,
mm-hmm.
right? There's shit blowing. The leaves and stuff are blowing inside behind him if you look. And it's actually easy to miss because his head, he's real big in the frame.
Yeah.
And it's easy to miss if you're not like taking in the whole image. But yeah, I'm like, oh, it's coming in. It's coming in. The wood creaking sound I thought was eerie until they added the gurgling.
The growling.
Yeah, well, first it was like a gurgling sound,
mm-hmm.
and then it was like a growling and a grumbling,
mm-hmm.
and they were kind of like all mixed together. And I thought, oh, way to make the wind worse. And that wood creaking sound. And yeah, just, I don't know. I don't think replicating this film is the way to go. But I think from a cinematography point of view, the tension of those slow pulls and pushes is something to consider.
Yeah.
Could that work for what you're doing?
Right.
And I wouldn't do it as like a contrast shot where everything's like, give me liberty, just like fucking balls out 100 miles an hour.
Insanity.
And then you stop.
Right.
And then back into the stuff. That would be terrible.
It would be.
That would be like year one student type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a lot of stories that could benefit from that kind of tension. It doesn't have to necessarily be a horror.
Well, yeah. Right? And I would encourage people to watch this movie and then take from it, okay, if this is the way they told this story, what is the way I should tell my story?
Right.
Through cinematography, through sound, and not just through the acting. Because, acting is what it is.
Yep.
And there are phenomenal actors, and there are good actors, and there are mediocre actors, and there are bad actors. And there are people who just think that they're actors. And a lot of your story can lean on that. Actors can make or break a movie.
That's true.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But most of the ones we've seen, the actors kind of do the best with what they have, right? If you don't give them much to work with, they're not going to give you much back.
I mean, that's true. Great actors have been in just turds.
Yeah. But focus on, when you're watching this, how, the actors are almost irrelevant to the story. And I'm not trying to shit on the work that they did, which was good work.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it.
Right?
Get it. Yeah.
But it's not about, like we said, it's not about the characters. It's about the happenings.
Yeah. Nobody's here chewing up the scenery.
Right.
This is
It's about the scenery.
Yeah. It's about the scenery and their place in it, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. That's, you're there on screen for one reason or another. It's for the monologues, for the action, or it's to be present while all this other stuff is happening.
Right.
That's filmmaking. That's stories. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I think the other thing to take away is the use of lighting.
Right.
Lighting can tell 70% of your story with nothing else aiding it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's a lot of show, don't tell.
Yeah. Some of it's a little bit of light magic,
mm-hmm.
but it's choosing the initial lighting to begin with. This is a perfect example of get it right in the frame. That's a photography phrase.
Yeah.
Get it right in the frame. Don't worry, this is back when film was the medium. Don't worry about how you can manipulate the negative when you're processing to make up for the fuck up or what you missed or what you didn't spend time on. Get it right in the frame. Because then you really don't ever have to do anything to it. Occasionally enhance something, there's always with the little paddles and stuff. Mm-hmm. There's always something you could do. But I look at this and I think, see, this wasn't just some guy who went out with his fucking camera, put it on a tripod and, had an auto zoom ring and he's controlling it with his phone and it's just slowly going on a preset out. And he's like, oh, I'll make it look funky and, creepy and stark and beautiful in post.
Right.
I fucking hate that. Fix it in post, fix it in post, fix it in
yeah.
post. Fix it in post is for something that you couldn't fucking avoid, something that happened and you're like, we can't, this was like the one shot, we can't do the setup or we got to go, permits up, whatever. And you got to do what you can with it. Right. But so many people rely on that.
Yeah.
This was not one of those cases.
No.
This is an absolute case of think about it. Think about it. Someone had to go out and look at the fucking trees and pick the one to go in on and the one to pull out on.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's pretty much it for this one.
Yeah. I think those are some pretty good lessons.
I think so.
It doesn't have to be the whole gambit.
Yeah. I mean, I would recommend watching this film. It's interesting.
And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah. I can understand why some people might not, be into it. It's weird.
It is weird. It is weird. I happen to enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it also.
A lot of elements that were there and nothing was so off-putting that it was like, but for this, it was a great movie.
I really enjoyed it for the artistry of it.
I think that's it. I think that's it. And something we forgot to mention way at the beginning, we have a website.
lordsofmisruleproductions.com.
Yes, it is. And surprisingly, on that website is a bunch of stuff. Obviously, the podcast episodes, stuff about our projects, which aren't moving super fast. But more importantly, links to Patreon, to YouTube, to stuff.
Our email addresses.
Yeah, well, just the one.
Our email address.
Yeah, info@lordsofmisruleproductions.com. You don't want to type it out. You got to type out lordsofmisruleproductions.com somewhere.
That's right.
Right. But if you want to do it, don't want to do it more than once, go to the website. There's an email link right there.
Ka-chow.
Yeah. Send us some stuff. Let us know who you are. Let us know what you've done. Let us know what you've seen that you think would be good for what we do, which is dissect these bad boys and see what beginning new filmmakers at any part in the process can learn from.
Yeah.
Because like we just said at the beginning, we've been saying it lately, there's so much shit we haven't seen.
I know.
I don't know if we'll ever find it.
We have seen so many movies, more movies than any living person that I know personally. And right?
I think we have, I don't want to say we've seen the most, but we have seen way more movies than 99% of people who actually have like lives
than most average people.
Right. The only people who generally I can say have seen more movies than us are the ones who like don't have jobs during the day or night.
Mm-hmm.
And they just like watch movies. They've been doing it for years. Somehow.
Amazing.
You know, I don't know.
Sounds like the life.
But, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to watch all the shit out there. I'd like to, you know, write some of the shit out there too. But I just, you know, love movies so much. I could just watch the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go to the website, go to our stuff, do the things, share, like, comment, rate, review, all that stuff. We appreciate it. And more importantly, like I said, reach out to us. Give us something.
Yep.
We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to see what you got and, you know, do all the rest.
All right.
I think that's it then.
Well, with that,
yeah,
we'll catch you next week.
All right.
Until then, I'm Danny.
And I'm Jim.
We'll catch you later, B-Siders.
Bye.